We're going to Far Rockaway to a school, a specific school, and to film some people on how they were affected by Hurricane Sandy. I'm going to ask them how it feels and are they how they feel about going to different schools and traveling.
This is the boardwalk that's remaining. I used to walk to the beach. You could think. You could go on the beach. You could think. You could walk around. A few months when I went back there, it looked like Vietnam bombed the place. People wearing masks because of the mold, the mildew. See the cars that was underwater. That's my apartment there. That's all the stuff that was in my house. I'm not ashamed to show it. But it is all the stuff that was destroyed. As you see my drum.
Schools in Far Rockaway were shut down because of the hurricane, and my family stayed at a shelter for a couple of days. Houses were flooded badly. Most people had to leave their houses because they were really destroyed.
During the news, I just thought oh, it's a hurricane, it's not that serious. And we've been through this before, like Irene. And during Irene, nothing really happened.
Hearing it over the news, you would feel okay, yeah, it's real and stuff, but you won't actually put in any emotion into it until I actually saw that, well, this really happened to someone that I interact with every day.
Of course, you see the devastation by looking at it on television, seeing the buildings and the houses, the dilapidation, the people, children, their ages, that suffered from Sandy's effects. I think that those experiences had an overwhelming effect on their lives for the betterment, for them to experience and gain this thing called empathy. They share in the pain and want to alleviate it in any way that they could.
Since PS43 was shut down, they were transferred to a school in Brownsville.
My name is Nashim Riddick.
And where are you from?
Far Rockaway.
How long have you been coming to this school?
About 3 months.
Right.
I was affected by Hurricane Sandy. My possessions were destroyed, my home was destroyed, and my former school was destroyed.
We're always a very giving school, and just the mere fact that we're able to take in students and provide a home away from home for them, it was a good feeling. It was a feeling that we were actually, contributing to some Sandy victims rather than just watching the news and saying, oh, I'm so sorry. We actually had a hand in making sure that they were able to, progress in some way.
First thing I would think about is getting them comfortable and dealing with their primary needs. Like you said, one of the things that would be is just the fear factor, the scariness, the uncertainty.
My ultimate purpose and goal and my responsibilities and duty to make sure that all of my students and any students that come under my care, that I continue with the regular routines.
One of the things that they would need, that children need, and I'm sure, is just the perception of a friendly face or the interaction with people that they perceive has their best interests.
On my first day, I met a few people. Yeah, I did feel welcome. It did actually take a burden off of my shoulders because they were really helping. Like other people, they were giving my uncle money and he would go and buy me some new stuff.
My art club every year is filled to the brim. Normally 65 to 80 students sign up for my club and I can only admit 32. Ramon came later in the year and so there was no space. He came up and he inquired about art club and I explained to him that every chair in my room is taken. And Keith, another student that's in his regular class, approached me and said that he would give up his seat for Ramon and that he would stand and work. And so I knew at that point that this is probably a student I want in my club. So, and he's been a great asset ever since. I'm really glad that he joined. I'm thankful to Keith that, you know, gave him the opportunity. Okay, go get another one on the
No, what's your song that sing?
Sharpness should be in the key.
He could draw better than me. He could draw better than a teenager.
He's good.
I was born and raised in Brownsville, lived in Brownsville my entire life. And, you know, I know that people indeed take pride in helping one another, and it's more than what the media portrays it to be.
And Brownsville has its history of its own illnesses and weaknesses. But throughout those issues, Brownsville has always had a strong population, people who are able to deal with the struggle, and yet in the midst of their own storms, they still have empathy in their hearts to touch and help someone else.
We're here to interview Miss Kennedy on Brooklyn Partnership and how they help the community get together in Hurricane Sandy.
Why are you mad at me?
The Brownsville Partnership is a nonprofit, community-based organization here in Brownsville. We do several things, but we focus on stabilizing families in Brownsville through, you know, making Brownsville a more safer, healthier, and prosperous community. We actually went to Coney Island to do relief work.
Some of the residents here that we took with us on the trip visited really appreciated having, you know, people who, you know, could be their neighbors, people who, you know, understand what it, you know, understand where they're coming from.
The spirit of our president, Roseanne Haggerty, is very much like that of Greg Jackson. So Greg Jackson, you know, was our founding director. And he worked very closely with our president, Roseanne Haggerty, you know, introducing our organization to the community, making sure we were, you know, tackling the right issues. And his spirit very much lives in the spirit of Roseanne, in that they will do what it takes to get people the help that they need.
And just about Mr. Jackson, one of the things that I think his grandmother used to tell him, and then he used to tell other people, was every morning asking, you know, who are you going to help today? And I think that's something at the Brownsville Partnership we try to do in all of our work.
Jocko was the head of the BRC, but you know, you go throughout Brownsville and you hear that he was the mayor of Brownsville.
The kids indeed knew what Jocko's vision was, and through organizations that he helped establish, such as the Brooklyn Partnership, they were able to go there and see how they could help, you know, what helping actually meant.
He wasn't that just because he was in Brownsville and was the mainstay of BRC, but because of his service, right? And what he gave and met the needs of his community. And so it is only fitting that his name be the center point of this activity, this event, this annual event, and the spirit that he possessed and what he did, that it is passed on and it transcends time, so much so that generations of children afterwards will still live the legacy of what Jock did.
I think that the kids were able to take away a lot from this experience. They were able to take away the fact that, you know, the good that is in Brownsville, that they should keep it as such, and, you know, try to build a legacy of good, you know, the positive things that Brownsville does possess, the empathy, the kindness, the courageousness even for them, you know, taking a step out and going to see things that they had no idea existed.
I think that the role that was played was that we had to welcome them. They're homeless, destroyed, and we had to show them comfort.
To know that they would send kids in this area, I couldn't understand it, but then when we interviewed the kids, I understand that, well, now people can know that Brownsville is still good, even now that all the bad stuff is around.
As students, we have to remember if something is going on in another part of the world, it is affecting us also. And what can we do? simply going and interviewing, simply understanding that a young student from Brownsville, from the Rockaways, came to Brownsville, and we were able to give them a home.
The fact that they had this experience of movement, of being active, we hope that it galvanizes them for their future. That a number of our children, we hope that they will now take this, this humanistic approach on a regular in their community and beyond when there's situations that they feel that someone else needs help with.